Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Core Conversations for Wednesday. And we're going to have a good time with the team from the Pilates Summit. Our creators of this online Pilates conference is joining me today. Let's get it. So let's do a few housekeeping things and we'll bring them on. Jessica, Tabitha, long time. Hope you're well. Podcast drop today. That's for Momentum Fest. So Tab, how are you doing? How is your teacher training going? How are things going in your business? I'd love to hear from you and have you back on at some point for a conversation. Hello, Pilates Summit team. I'll have you guys on in one moment. I'm just gonna do a couple housekeeping things. Tab, so send me a message. Let's get you back on again. Let's catch up. I want to hear all about all your teacher training programs and all the things that you're doing. You're doing such great work for this Pilates community, for our community. So I really appreciate that. Okay, so that's... Musa, Everly, Stella, some of my friends who are now on. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so Tab, please send me a message and let's get you booked back in. So if I forget, send me a quick reminder and I'll get you connected back in there. All right. So I'll just wait for a few more moments for some more people to show up. Like Helen, how's it going? And then we're going to have our team from the Pilates Summit 2021 join us on air. Sunny. For those of you who've been watching for a while, you know that I am a big sports fan, and I just finished watching the Mike Tyson documentary that went on for the last 2 Tuesdays. And I grew up in this era where he was like my biggest fan, and then he had his biggest plummet from stardom, and then his turn and coming back to this place of humility and even a sense of greatness as a way come back. Yes, and a big car fan. That's right. So watching the documentary, it really sparked some thoughts for me as a person. I think we should all be chasing after our own version of greatness and living out all that we're called to be. And I had so many reflections from watching this Tyson documentary and how he was groomed and how he was mentored and how he was trained. And then also his upbringing, his background, and how that impacted what he did. And there were some negative things that happened in his past. And those negative things that happened in his past made him the great fighter that he was, because he's fighting from a place of fear, and now he's coming back and now he's fighting from a place of joy and in loving it and just raising funds and doing these things. And you hear the humility that comes from wisdom and wisdom that comes from experience and all of these different things, and it's reignited my passion, and not even my passion, my fandom of Mike Tyson. Whereas a time when he was like when I was a kid, he was like my star, and then that whole situation happened with him biting Holyfield's ear, and then there's this fall from grace. all this circled back to one line in the documentary last night. He's asked about greatness, and the line that he used was something that was so simple and yet so profound, and I really liked it. And he said this. He was asked about success, and he said, "Success for me is being responsible and being present." Success for me is being responsible and being present. That is Mike Tyson's definition of success. As we unpack that, I have to say I agree. There's a responsibility of understanding what is in your hands. Am I being faithful with the things that are given to me? Am I using them to the best of my ability? Am I bringing them to fruition? Am I making them better than the way I found them? And being present, enjoying the moment, not being so fixated on what can be or what used to be, but just being right here. So I'm grateful for having an opportunity to watch that and to hear his journey. And all of us have a similar journey. We may not have as many eyeballs on us as he did, but we're all on this journey. And for him to land at success as being responsible and being present, I really like that. So I wanted to just throw that out there for your thoughts. If you have any comments on that, please throw it in the comment section. What's your thoughts on that definition of success? Being responsible and being present. Coach Cello, good to see you. Olga, good to see you. Usually a bit of a delay when I throw stuff like that out, so I'll just wait for a moment. Sorry, I got a call coming through there. Yeah. It's interesting, like the being present part is something that, hearing it come from him, you think that he was present. Like when you walk into a boxing match, there's nowhere to be but present. You can't be thinking about doing your groceries when someone's trying to punch you in the face. You can't be anywhere else. So you think that he was present. You think that he was present in those moments. So for him to say being present is important, I think that is huge, Sonny. Yes, absolutely. That is so huge. Because it's not like he had a life and role where he wouldn't have been present. You cannot do that and not be present for a living. So, that sense, what's going on, Roxy? That's why it gave me pause, because it would be different if it was someone who kind of did something else with their life where being present wasn't something that was going to enhance their ability to do it. He was the top of his game. He had to be present. And then for him to define success now as being present and being responsible, I think of stewardship. I think of just being faithful to things that are in your hands to do. He opened with that, being faithful to my wife, being a good dad, being responsible. All of those things were the things that made him, that covered his definition of success right now. So I just love that, and I've been musing on that. I'm going to repost that later, and that might even be my Finish Strong Friday for later this week as we talk about that, being responsible and being present. So there you go. Thank you, Mike Tyson, for giving me some words to muse on and to throw back out to our people here. So also, Toshiba is in the room, my guest from yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to watch yesterday's conversation, that was super fun and insightful, and I loved the some feedback I got from people. So people were messaging me afterwards to say that how that was inspiring. My wife watched it; she loved it as well. So if you get a chance to listen to someone outside of our Pilates world speak, like she did yesterday, and just get her perspective on life, relationships, balance, self-care, all that warm, fuzzy stuff, that was really good. So check that out. Catch her book as well, and you'll see all the links for that in yesterday's conversation. All right, so Here we are, and we have a Pilates Summit 2021 coming up here. Let me just catch this last comment here. For those who don't know, I always read the comments out because on the replays, they don't actually post the comments. So I might even do a screenshot from time to time just to make sure that it's getting there. And now what Helen said was, being responsible, accepting our responsibilities for what we do / have done. What we accept is embrace reflection, maturity, forgiveness, and a sense of peace. He's got all that going on. Absolutely. That sense of peace. And yes. Tasha, you just missed my conversation with Mike Tyson and his words of wisdom yesterday on his special, if you watched it. I'd love to have you on to discuss that because I thought it was pretty cool. One more thing. I didn't say this yesterday when Toshiba was on, but she was talking about how when she was walking through her life's journey, how she didn't cry. And she had to find that place where it was welcomed, encouraged, okay to cry. And Jenna Zaffino had a post a couple days ago maybe last week, where she was just sitting down and it was like her kid was off at daycare, her husband was off doing something, and there was a bunch of things that were on in the world, and then she was in this spot where she had time for herself, she didn't have a responsibility for her child, her husband was off doing his own thing, and she sat there and just softly wept and took a picture of herself crying. And I just, that resonated with me, and I said in the comments that there is something about that moment where gratitude and peace collide. Where gratitude and peace collide and the tears start to fall. It was this moment, and I saw it in her face, and I totally got that because I've been in that place where you finally had the sense of peace. You could exhale, you could look around, and you can just be present, like Tyson said, and feel that there's a sense of responsibility. Everything is taken care of. I am not needed in this moment, but to be present with myself, to be grateful for what I have and where I am, and to find that peace. And I sent her a link to a picture of me driving from last year, where I was in my car and I was coming up over this ridge on the highway, an on-ramp onto another highway, and the sun just starts to break into the car, and I'm just cruising, just minding my own business, and then tears start to just roll down my face. Just a sense of just like this half smile comes on my face, and the tears started to roll. And I think I was gonna say something, and then I just kind of got lost in the moment. And there's a same moment where it's just like so grateful for a moment where I could just be still. So grateful for that moment where I could just have a moment to myself. And it wasn't an expensive moment. I didn't have to pay for a spa retreat. I wasn't on vacation. I was just alone. And there's a sense of peace that rolled over. And my comment at that time was, it takes a lot of disquiet to come to this place of quiet. We all have so many things that are going on in our world, especially at this time, that pulls us in so many different directions, that draws us away from that center, distracts us, it tires us out. There's so many needs, so many things that just pull us away. And even in the midst of it, if you can just pull yourself back to that center, look around and be grateful for what you have and where you are, grateful for breath, grateful for life, for sight, for all these small things. Not grateful for cars and houses, and like grateful for breath, grateful for a heartbeat. If you can come back to that place, that's when the tears flow. That's when you feel that sense of being a success, true success, responsible, and being present. It's good stuff. Good stuff. On that point, our thoughts, as Helen says, our thoughts are what pulls away more than anything else. Right, exactly. It is those thoughts that pull us away. And those thoughts, we justify those thoughts by justify how important those other things are. There's a lot of things going on in our world. Here in Canada, like, people are rocked by the indigenous communities, the findings with those 215 children and those bodies, and what's happening in the US, what's happening all over the world, what's happening in Israel. Like, there's craziness that's happening. But all of it still comes back to understanding that we have to give the best version of ourselves to those things, or we're useless to anybody else. The airplane analogy is one of the things that got me through in my darkest moments, is being able to understand that if I put the oxygen mask on me first as this plane is going down, then I'm able to help those around me. I'm no help to everyone else if I try and take care of them and I don't have any oxygen. And that's a tough pill to swallow for the Roxys of the world, that they're with a young child pulling at your clothes the whole time. There are some really vocal needs that are out there, but we still need to give the best version of ourselves to those things, the best that we can. We still need to take care of ourselves, even selfishly, for a fragment of time, to be able to come back stronger for those around us. That takes courage, that takes some discipline, that takes some sense of not caring what people think about you while you take a moment to take care of yourself so that you can come back in strength. So find those moments, find those places of being present, being grateful, finding peace. You can't compromise on those things. As much as the world will pull us in so many different directions, and there are some valid needs, those valid needs are always going to be there. Take that moment for yourself so that you can come back stronger and be more effective in those situations that are most important to you. That's my public service announcement for today, and I'll probably repost this later for anyone who has those thoughts, who feels like those are distractions. So if you have any other comments, please put it in the comment section. I don't know where that came from, but that's kind of how I'm feeling these days. Dad goals. How do you balance it out with all those needs, right?
Hey man, I'm good. How are you? So do you need questions up here?
All right, I am going to bring on a whole bunch of people here. Let's see if we can do this. Gabrielle. Maybe, how does this work? 1, 2. And cello's in the room too. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Let's give this a try. I've never got on 3 people at the same time. If there's some more comments coming through, we'll adjust them even as the group comes on. And let's just. I really appreciate all of your guys' input. Let's get it. Jordan Pilates, how are you? Hi.
Hi, Martin. How are you?
I'm doing great. Eva?
It's spelled Iva, but in French we say Eva.
Eva, okay.
Eva. You know what? In Italy, it's actually tax. So I don't know if it's a good reference, but Eva means tax in Italy.
Okay. And cello?
Hi, how are you?
Great. There you go, Gabrielle. That worked out awesome. How's everyone doing?
Yeah. Hi, how are you? It's a really pleasure to be here with you.
Yes, likewise. Fellow male in Pilates. I'm always like, yes.
Yes, we look at that.
Yeah. Nice. So all of your groups should be coming through in the chat here now all of a sudden. So it's going, usually when I have one person on, their audience pops up. So now we have 3 times the number of people who are going to be notified that you're on a live right now. So this should be interesting. So welcome to everyone who's jumping in as well. And this is our team working through the Pilates Summit that is happening June 4 to 7?
This Friday to Sunday.
Friday to Sunday. Crazy. All right. So let's start. I'll have you guys just start by just introducing yourselves and like who you are, what you do outside of this organization of the Pilates Summit. And we'll just go wherever the conversation goes from there.
Great. Well, my name is Eva. And Eva Mazzoleni, and I live in Switzerland, the French-speaking part close to Lausanne. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Pilates teacher. I've been a Pilates teacher for, I don't even know, more than 15 years. And I'm quite a hybrid. I'm a very curious teacher. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm the girl in the back going, why?
Yes.
I'm the annoying one in the workshop. And I've been now, my backbone is really Lolita San Miguel's work. And I've
Okay.
been a teacher and an educator for her now for the past 6 years. And I've been studying with her for over 9 years.
Oh,
And then I
wow.
was lucky enough to be curious, and she was open enough to let me be curious to then also, discover the work of others. So that's kind of my background. And I'm a mom of 2 little children, so I very much relate to what you just said before.
Yes.
Being present, having time, self-care.
Yes.
Let's face it,
Right.
And yeah, so I have 2 daughters and a husband and a little dog as well. Like,
Oh,
Cello is our mascot. So there you go. Very
yes.
busy.
Team mascot
And
there.
yes, so very busy. And I have a studio also in Lausanne. And here right now, I'm in my home studio.
Okay, nice. So no spare time to be had. Too funny. Nice. Cello.
Uh,
Frozen there. Gabriella, do you want to go?
yeah, I can go. So my name is Gabby. I'm Cello's wife, and Eva is my educator. So I'm also Lolita, student and Pilates instructor. I've been before in a more business industry, organizing events for the last 10, maybe even more years.
Okay.
And I'm right now in the studio in Lausanne where we work with Eva. So here we go. So all 3 of us, we work in the same studio. Yeah, we have a little mascot here, little gordito. We love dogs. I'm a huge dog lover. So
Yes.
yeah.
So the dog has his own Instagram page too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Funny.
There'll be something happening with Gordo during the conference.
Okay.
There will be some fun. There is a game around it.
Nice.
Around it.
That's too funny. I just invite Chell. There he is. Back.
Okay.
Nice. Good stuff. Who
I'm
owns the
sorry, I
studio
went
then?
out.
Oh, sorry.
Well, actually, the studio is kind of owned by us all. We
Okay.
we call it a cooperative.
Yes.
We're 9 teachers, and
Okay,
I
cool.
started the studio 10 years ago, and we decided to share the cost amongst us all. So we all have a say, and we take
Yes.
decisions together.
That's so cool. Okay, I totally want to talk about that in a minute, just because whenever we have different models of Pilates business on, it's always interesting. So that I've heard someone talk about that kind of cooperative model, but not with 9 people.
Don't forget, it's very Swiss.
Yes.
Yes, that's how it works.
Right, exactly. Okay, so I want to hear more about that. But Shell, I'd love to hear your where you're at in your business as well. Can you hear me there, Chell?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I am. The network is so bad here where I am. So I don't know. I didn't really heard what Gavi and Eva said. I'm actually a Pilates teacher too, but in my life, I work as an IT. I am IT. I am the IT of this team, I will say.
Okay.
And my beautiful wife is Gabi with my beautiful dog. I'm kind of new on this. I have 25 years of experience in sports. I'm a personal coach. I'm a physical preparator. I work actually in a volleyball academy here in Fribourg in Switzerland.
Okay.
And Eva and Gabi introduced me to the Pilates for about 4 years, I will say. And I'm finishing my studies. I'm a Lolita student. If everything goes well, in 2 months, I am already certified really with the Lolita. Yeah, it will be fine.
Fingers crossed.
I'm sure. And I so love this thing because I never thought that I would use Pilates to fix my sporty people.
Yes.
I come from Muay Thai and free fight. I'm a Muay Thai teacher and free fight teacher too. And I was very injured, I was very injured during all these years, and and I discovered with Pilates that is it helped me a lot. It helped me really a lot in everything. So I am using that with all my students in order to let just to say I discovered it and I love it.
Absolutely. So now you're saying, so your physical, is that your title, is that almost like a physical therapist, or what would that be by
I'm a
translation?
coach, physical coach.
Physical coach.
I'm
Okay.
a
Like
physical
a
coach.
sports
I'm the
conditioner. We
one.
call it sports
Sports
conditioner.
condition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sports
So it's like,
condition. Yeah.
yeah, the title, I'm in
And
Canada, so the title's different for those things, but yeah, sport conditioning,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I don't even know how to say it in French. Préparateur physique. Voilà. I think, but voilà. Yes, this is what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And coming from a fight background instead of from a dance background is unique, right? In this Pilates world, like everyone usually comes from that dance background or whatever. So Chris Robinson's an example of someone who also came from.
It never happens. Plays in Freeport. Come on. I'm
It's all
sorry.
good. No apology needed. That's what I love about these authentic conversations. It's not like we're all sitting in Paula's studio with boom mics and stuff. So it's all good. But yeah, so talk about like Pilates for fighters.
Listen, we use the same core. I discovered with Pilates because all the time when I'm studying, when I'm practicing, it's about use the core, try to find the lengthening. You know what I mean? Move certain muscles in order to have the 100% of the movement done. And if I do that, if I put that on the fighting side, it's exactly the same thing. You use the breathing. You try to use the lengthening. You really try to find the central point of your body in order to do the movement.
Yes.
And you are always focused on movements that you can do. This is what I found impressive, because it hasn't been difficult for me do the Pilates on the mental side. Okay, let's talk about mental side.
And being
on the
present.
mental side. Yeah, because I was already on this. I had already this background with the fighting, and in the other side, it was I think this fighting thing helped me to use this to try to find this lengthening in the muscles. Everybody who knows me, Gabby can tell you, since I do Muay Thai, since I do Pilates, my body has changed. I didn't lose power or strength or explosivity, but my body has changed. I'm taller now. I'm 1 centimeter taller, I think. This is the thing that it changed in my in my side. And then what I found very important, it was the utilization of the core, because I think without knowing in boxing, we use the core a lot.
Yes.
And we use the core to help you to do the movement and find the lengthening. So this is what I found very interesting. I don't know if Joseph, I know he was a boxer. I know that he knew this feeling about having this power on the center of your body. So I think,
I understand
this
that.
is.
Yeah, and it's funny, and I understand that too. I appreciate boxing and martial arts, and yet we have so many dancers that make that the natural progression. And Emmett Younger's in here, and we've talked about this too. So many dancers think that the natural progression from dance is Pilates, and why aren't we almost physically recruiting boxers to become Pilates instructors and Muay Thai fighters to be? Because when you understand that as a sport conditioning specialist, and that's my background as well. It's not just using your core like doing a sit-up or a plank. It's dynamically using your core. How do we engage muscles while moving dynamically at the same time? That's a skill. Like anyone can hold a plank for a minute and train up to 5 minutes doing a plank, but can you actually use that? Can you apply that and get power from your finger right down to your big toe as you rotate? That sort of thing, right? So I think fighters get that, but we don't go out and say, okay, let's go to boxing gym and let's find the next generation of Pilates people here. That sounds silly to do, but like, I mean, but like you understand, you get it. Fighters
But you
get
said something, Martin, you said something very important. You talked about skills.
Yes.
Really what the method does, it teaches you skills and to be aware of those skills from a very different dimension.
Yes.
So we all speak the same language when we move. And all the times,
Right.
you know, you talked about dancers, you know, it's choreography. Okay,
They
it's
understand
movement, choreography, and a lot of the
Yes.
movements in Pilates, yeah, if you do them like a dancer, they kind of look like dancing. But if you do it like Joe or you do it like cello, it doesn't look like dancing at all. So it really has that faculty. It's teaching you to
Yes.
have all these faculties in your body from every possible angle,
Yes.
creating a shape and working with gravity and forces and how
Yes.
we distribute those forces through our joints, through our tissue, through our core, and through who we are, because that's a whole different dimension as well. So it is so complete in so many ways. And I very much like something I've heard once in a workshop where they quoted Kathy Grant, and she said, well, what is Pilates good for? And she said, it's for the unexpected. And I'm very honest, I just had a triple fracture in my shoulder 5 months ago. And the way it happened, the way I felt, the way everything. I mean, it's, if I didn't have Pilates, I didn't have that trust in my body, and I would not know how to listen to those little voices in my body.
Yes.
And like there was a comment, the mind does not always very good. Well, if you know how to speak to the mind and how the mind can kind of cooperate with the body, it's amazing what we are able and what we're capable of. And I really think the keyword skills, it is teaching us to be skillful with what we've been given from the very beginning, no matter what kind of body we have. We have skills and we can develop those. And that's the core of wherever we come from with the method.
Absolutely. There's a few comments here. Carrie Miller said, Pilates is a concept, to quote Eve Gentry. And then Emmett's comment is, maybe it's because if you're not from the boxing fighting world, you may find it intimidating. That's absolutely true. It is intimidating and for some people until they get introduced to it and recognize the value that it has in their body and for their sport. And then lastly, the comment here is, you may think that a boxer or fighter might think that Pilates isn't for them. So it's that progress, right? Of just like every dancer that does Pilates that I've had on the show has said, well, I was 10 years old and someone came in and they took us through a body movement class, and now I realized that was Pilates. So they've been introduced to it at some point in their career. They had an injury and then they went to it. They were introduced, someone came in and taught their general fitness class. So they've had some exposure while they're in their career most of the time. So the same thing, like more boxers, fighters get exposed to it during their career, then they'll come out of that thinking, okay, this made a difference for me, right? Carrie's comment, fitness industry is selling aesthetic and not principles. Yes, that is true. That is true.
But it happened in everybody and everything, you know, when the boot camps that people call, that was used people who do fightings used to do this kind of trainings before 2 months before a fighting.
Yes.
So the fitness took that and they said, yeah, we're doing boot camp now. It's doing with everything. It's selling. It's not selling the concept, because the concept of actual real sport, because we can mix, is to achieve something. And fitness, they just to sell you like, I agree with the comment.
Yeah, interesting. So we have this Pilates Summit. Is this how many years have you been doing this for? Like, what is the origin of it? Whoever wants to jump in and take that. Talk about the origins of the Pilates Summit.
I think we let Gabi speak.
All right, Gabi.
It's all thanks to her.
No, it's all thanks to Lolita, we need to say. I mean, Lolita, exactly. She organized an incredible event last year, like on the Pilates day when we were locked down. It was the first lockdown, at least in Switzerland. It was whole day, 20 hours Pilates with all her students or educators teaching a class one after another, starting, I think, with Katya in Ukraine, through Eva, you were teaching, and then Joachim and many other teachers.
Yeah, it was a 12 hours
we've
straight. 12 hours straight.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that, yes.
That was amazing. And with Cello, we're sitting on a couch, actually. And then I saw Lolita on her Cadillac with her legs up. And I was like, oh my God, why don't we do a conference, you know? Why don't we do an online conference? And I called immediately Eva afterwards. I was like, Eva, I have an idea. And yeah, and then it took us, what, 6 weeks? 6 weeks for the first one? Very intensive 6 weeks to bring all the teachers together. We have an amazing team as well behind the scenes. They're not with us, but there's a huge credit for many people who are working hard. Camila, Olga, Michał, Martin, who is our graphic designer, and a few others who are making the magic happen now with post-production.
Yes.
So yeah.
Wow.
That's
so you pulled the first one together in 6 weeks?
Yeah. From the idea till the delivery. Yeah.
They were crazy. They were crazy.
Crazy, yes. I was going to say, like, you can't pull that off without some sleepless nights and some hair loss.
Well, we were lucky that most of the world was in lockdown.
Yes.
So we were lucky to be able to actually catch the teachers.
Yes.
And to actually get hold of the teachers who were at home kind of stuck like us, trying to figure out this whole online, whatever was going on, whatever provider they were using to kind of stay in tune with people. And so, yeah, it was possible. But that's all we did for 6 weeks, literally, morning to night. So that was I would say, the very intense part of it. And I have no idea of anything online. I mean, I'm a hands-on girl. I love touching. I love hugging. So for me to be virtual, I was like, okay. And I said to Gabi, can you pull this off? Because that was her job before, doing it with business. You know, she was in a business school, organizing these events and conferences and all these things. So she was very familiar with it. And she's like, yeah, don't worry. And when she says, don't worry, I don't worry. So that's how it all started. And Gabi and she'll also help me then with because I have 2 companies. I have the studio and me being a teacher, and I was organizing events and workshops in Switzerland for the French speaking community, and then also for the Swiss community, with teachers coming 2 or 3 times a year to the studio or to a hotel where we had conferences. But everything was canceled. No, and I knew it was out for 2 months, for 2 years. And in the 2 months where I had to decide, okay, do I close that business? And I just stopped because, you know, there's no point in keeping that going. Or do I try to reinvent myself? And that's where Cello and Gabi offered their help to maybe try to find a way to do something online. And that's how we all kind of melted into this. And we were able to stay connected and to still offer something out there with the support system that we have right now, which is virtual. And don't get me wrong, it will never substitute for anything in real and in person. But for me personally as a teacher, it was better than nothing, because in Switzerland itself, there is really not much. And for me, Lolita, I mean, I travel twice a year to go to Florida. That was out of the league. But I have never been so close to her. I have never, been with her so much, with her being online every week.
Right.
So it's been a blessing in one way. But yes, we really had to get out of our comfort zone. No.
And you also speak to, you had past experience organizing events already, and Gabi, with your business experience as well, like, so you had skill sets you just need to transfer to this. It wasn't like a complete acute learning curve.
Yeah, I think our strength is as well.
Eva's like, yes, it was actually.
Yeah, what makes us strong is that we are a team with very different skills and toolboxes.
Yes.
Exactly. So this what makes us, I think, 3 of us a certain way a unique and a very good team, because we have different backgrounds, we have different maybe approaches, different ideas. We brainstorm, we come up with something, and we try. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we try again.
Seriously, that's the beauty of it. We we have an idea, we believe in it, and we go for it, and then we'll see what happens. And the one thing also, we're just teachers. We're teachers and studio owners, like most of everybody out there. Like, we're not a company in that sense. We're just three sole traders coming together, trying to create something for the community. And that's the easy part of it now with being virtual. We can actually reach out to the world and have everybody participate to what we would have tried to create at a very smaller scale inside our country anyway, or from our studio. And we thought, okay, well, if Lolita can gather all these people with one event, why don't we try to do the same, but be inclusive? I believe in it being inclusive. I believe that we can learn from anybody, whether we like it or not. But I always think there is something to learn from whatever experience we have. It's up to you to choose what you want to learn from it. But at the end of the day, that was the whole idea. And we realize now that there is a place for us being inclusive in the industry. And I believe we are ready for something different, and maybe something more open, where we can just be ourselves and voice where we come from and what we believe in, not having to be fearful of the reaction. I hope at least that's the idea of the summit, to embrace the differences. And you take whatever you want, you leave whatever you want, and you have it also. That's one thing that was important to us, because all of us, and we're in a lucky place in Switzerland. I mean, you know, we struggled with the company, with the business. We were, in 14 months, we were shut 7 months.
Yes.
There's no business, let's face it. And in other places, it's even worse. So we had to find ways, and we wanted to find a way to make this work as affordable as possible. Because for me, online is great, but there's a lot of opportunities out there as well.
Yes.
And I didn't want this to be an opportunity from business point of view. I wanted to be able to serve the community, because I believe service is the greatest gift we can give.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
that's what I truly believe in. And hopefully, you know, as an example, we charge like $2.50 a session with 90 days replay. Seriously, I mean, and you have 51 hours. You have 51 hours of ongoing education, and you have 3 months to go over it. Whenever you want, I mean, as much as you want, just click on a button and there it's available to you. And if you can join live, you can actually interact with the teachers. You can actually request a meeting with them. You can chat to them. You can chat with one another. We try to make it as real,
interactive. It sounds
interactive as it would be in a real conference. You know, most of us would go to the PMA internationally, or we would go to a local conference in our country, at least when we can and we can afford it. And the beauty here, there's no travel cost. There's no airplane. There's no, I mean, for me, it was always to travel to Palm Beach Garden. First of all, I have to take a week off work. There's no income. There's the airplane. There's the hotel. There's the training.
Yes.
I mean, it was huge budgets. It's crazy.
Yes.
And now there is a way to still have some sort of education available to us. We make whatever we want from it at a price which is, I mean, that would have never been possible in the past. And because virtual enables us to go at a greater scale, it is possible. And I think that's the beauty of it, that education is not only for people who had the financial means to train with the very best.
Right. Exactly.
Like I said, that was important to me. I know it's also important to Lolita. Lolita always says you have to remain a student of the work, no matter where you're at in life. Try to remain a student.
Yes.
And as an example, Joe used to charge $5 an hour in the studio.
Right. What would that be in modern day dollars?
I have no idea. I don't know. It depends so on the market.
Yeah.
In the country, I have no idea.
It's still accessible is the point, though.
Yes, that's the whole idea. You know, I mean, I know Corolla charged $1 more, and she was just a little further.
Yes.
But you got tea in a chaise longue, Lolita says, which you didn't get at Joe's.
Right. Too funny. So when you say the word inclusive, what does that mean to you? Because inclusive has such a diverse, broad word, right? So you're talking exclusive from actually, I'll let you just expand on that.
Well, first of all, it was just from a Pilates point of view, we tried to have as many different approaches as possible. because I mean, we can debate on, you know, legitimate, not legitimate, a direct link, not a direct link. We try to basically go to those who are most out there, first of all, and then have as many different approaches to it, from a scientific point of view, from a business point of view, from a traditional point of view, from a more contemporary point of view. We also reached out to all manufacturers, that maybe we could once just have all the manufacturers in the
In
one
the same room.
place. You know,
Yeah.
we're all just selling the same goods at the end of the day, but we all have
Right.
our little twist to it. And
Yes.
I truly believe that there is space for everybody in there. And then also trying to have men and women, as many ethnic backgrounds as possible as well. But then again, we can't please everybody. I mean, we're also limited in, I mean, we would love to invite even more. But it all depends also on, let's be very honest, the more means we have, the more we can offer. And so it's always finding this balance with, we can't invite everybody, but at one point, I mean, we would love to. And I also feel like I would love to also invite the newbies, because I truly feel we have just as much to learn from one another as teachers.
Absolutely.
As we can maybe learn from the great one, or the masters, how we call them. But I would love to see an opportunity for us teachers to join one another and learn from one another.
Yes.
So I mean, it's endless, very honestly, Martin.
Yes.
But hopefully, we try to pick people from wherever we could that were open to join as well, and that had the ability to join or the time to join. Some people are very busy and, you know, couldn't make it. And yeah, if we left everybody out, I mean, as I said, we're sorry, but we're really trying our best to have a balance and to do it as good as we can. That was the idea.
You know, I want to thank you for that too. I appreciate you saying that, and just thank you for making that effort. There's a lot of times that we get assailed. People want to come at us because they feel like there's not enough representation, or there's not enough. I appreciate effort. I really do appreciate effort to have representation and to have accessibility and all those different things. So someone may say that's not good enough, but I just want to say thank you. I do believe that there needs to be airtime to just trying. You're legitimately trying.
We try, and look, when we're open to any feedback and criticism as well, because that's what makes us better. And as I said, we can't please everybody, but we've tried our best, keeping in mind we're just 3 Pilates teachers believing in something.
Right.
Trying to make it as accessible as possible with the means that we have.
You're not a machine. You're not like this big massive machine.
No, and we're not a company. We're not a company. We're just 3 people getting together and trying to provide the community with the best possible ongoing education service that there is available to them for as little money as possible. Which, let's face it, it doesn't, you know, it also is tricky because we're almost that affordable that it's, you know, it also can, you know, compared to others who might do conferences who cannot charge that kind of money because it also costs a lot of money. It's like, come on, I mean, how can you compete with, you know, these kind of things? So it's, as I said, it's a tricky line, but the whole idea is to provide service. And that is something I was taught by Lolita, that the greatest gift she feels is that we can provide service, and we can provide service for better health. And I truly believe that as well. The world needs it more than ever, Martin, more than ever. I mean, I cannot say that any client I have seen again after 5 months being closed is better than before. They all need to work on their minds, on their body, and on their soul to just get back to some sort of a balance and to some sort of a comfort zone in where they live at right now. So hopefully, you know, this is the journey we can continue on. And the more feedback we get, as I said, the better we can serve the community and invite those that you guys want. That's the whole idea.
I say that too, you know, for things that I may say on the show that someone may not agree with, or we have some conversation after. There's times I had conversations with people after a show, and it's based on something that's been said or someone's opinion. And like you, like with the core conversations, it's a service to the community. We're amplifying voices, and you may not like someone that's on the show. You may not agree with someone's philosophy, or they may say something that is just slightly, you know, not aligned with you. that's fine. Like, we can have a conversation about that, and it doesn't have to be a point of threat. You don't need to boycott things. You don't need to, that sort of thing. We can, welcome back, sir. We can have those conversations. So Gabby, I'm going to bring this question to you because we mentioned the word master trainer. And I've been thinking about this concept because there's people who are really, really against that concept of, because we can't learn from everybody, right? But what's your thought on these elite trainers or these master trainers, of the sense of like, we're here and then they're here?
It's very, very interesting question. I agree with you that we can learn from everyone. And this is also what we cherish, I think, in the studio. We, as a team, we learn from each other. We are, as Eva said, we're 9 with very different backgrounds, with very different personalities as well. We already, within our small community here in Switzerland, in Lausanne, learning from each other with even we have educator here, and Stefan as well. He's also Lolita's educator. So how can I say, we're grateful for having them with us, but we're also very happy to learn from each other. And then bringing it to a different level, when you say master teachers, I think there is, and I come from, it might be cultural, I am someone who always respects the experience and the knowledge that people gain with the life, because it's the same with the age, and it can be in a Pilates industry, but also in a normal life. That I very much respect people who have certain experience and certain knowledge, and they are willing to share it with us. But I don't think that should be excluding learning from each other in any level. Vertically and horizontally. Whatever that means.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the reason why I asked that is that I had like Troy McCarty is in the room, and now Blossom's here as well. And
hey, Blossom! Woo!
So I think it's fun. Now, the phrase master trainer, those things, like even the people that would consider are considered that, when I've had them on the show, they're like, I'm just a teacher. Like, they don't elevate themselves. They don't posture themselves as like I'm this master trainer. But and I'm gonna pick on Troy for a second. He started teaching in the year I was born, right? So you have to respect experience. The things he's seen. When he teaches me, I'm not listening for the cue on how to do a roll up or how to do a leg circle. I'm listening for, okay, I've seen this 6 million times. Let me give you this variation, because that sort of thing. So I'm listening for the experience of having his eyeballs on so many different people. I'm listening for those little life hacks that help me as a new trainer by comparison, to save those years of experience. So like, it's the things around the exercises. It's the experience around the tactical cues for an exercise that I'm listening for with someone that has that experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I can say, for example, I'm as often as I can be in the studio also watching, for example, Eva or Stefan giving classes, whether group classes or private classes. I was with Blossom. I visited Blossom, I think 2 years ago, and I stayed as well to watch her teach someone else. And as you say, there's everything that is connected to the exercise and Pilates, but there's so much more around it. Your tone of voice. How do you approach the client? How do you interact with the client? How do you interact with the client depending on who he is, where he is at the moment? And it's all this beauty and richness that we can share. And you need some experience. And also it depends on the personality you have. I approach clients very different probably than Eva or than Cello does and than you do, in my own way. And it can be just as good, as bad as anyone else.
That's true. Yes, exactly. And when I was talking about my session with Troy on Monday, and I watched the replay of it, this is what I was asking myself. Not just what did he cue and how did he cue it, I was asking myself, what didn't he cue? What did he let go? What was he focusing on at the expense of something else? Those kind of things. Like, I think that when people go to the Pilates Summit and you see someone like John-Claude Nelson or Blossom or someone that you may not be familiar with but is in the room, listen to what they're not saying as well as what they are saying.
Yeah, and what's so amazing is some of them come from the same background and same teacher. And as an example, just example for myself, we're all trained with the same approach here, all three of us, having the same source, and yet we are so different.
Yes, it's informed by so many different things.
We're all mastering it with being who we are.
Yes.
And there is, to me today, as many Pilates approaches as there are teachers, because we are all unique in a sense. And I hope that in time we can empower, you know, we call ourselves the newbies or the little ones, if you want to think of positioning, you know, where we stand in the hierarchy of the whole Pilates method or the titles. As I said, we are unique. All of us are so unique in our own ways, teaching it. And we do so much good around us just being ourselves. And if we can just have people be more confident doing this, and have people, if some people need to look up to people, fine. Some people just need to look, you know, across to the other side and they get inspired. Some people want to look back. I mean, I learned so much from the apprentices in the studio because I forget what it was like sometimes. And so, I mean, a learning experience is a moment in the present with another soul, really trusting the moment. And that's the beauty. And at the end of the day, master is a word. It is a word of respect for us, to call it that way. But really, everybody on the panel, just as much as we there, have a voice. And hopefully we can finally in time, you know, voice it. And be confident with what we teach. And be confident with how much we know. Because we always think we don't know enough by comparing ourselves. And we don't need to. We do good enough with those that come out along our way. And for which, you know, moment or time frame we're going to share a story with. And that's the beauty of it.
Absolutely. So and with me sharing at this conference too, that was where I just took a moment to reflect on what do I want to share. What am I most confident in, most passionate about? I'm most confident, most passionate about. I don't really care about confidence. I'm like, what am I most passionate about? So the thing that I'm most passionate about is men in Pilates. And not just a super advanced mover in Pilates, is that guy who is a weekend warrior that doesn't realize that this is that game changer. If he just adds this to his workout routine, this will be such a rich experience for him. Or the person who, like I said, your court-ordered person. You go to the doctor and the doctor's like, you're 47 and everyone in your family died at 49, you need to start exercising. That guy, right? Like when he comes to me and he's like, he feels tall for the first time, he could touch his toes for the first time, that excites me. So that's what I bring to this conference, is that sense of how do we give those men success in Pilates? We want to get mat men out of this, men who recognize the value of it, boxers who recognize that this is going to be a game changer for them. That sort of thing. So I don't need to go out there and pretend to be Blossom. I don't need to get my single leg stretch to look the exact same as John-Claude Nelson. I don't have to go at the pace of Kathy Ross Nash. I can do me really well. And I hope that everyone out there who's listening to this, if someone asks you to speak somewhere, if you're building your own workshop, just do you hard. Do it as good as you can. And that is more than enough.
It is really more than enough, because we have enough to give with who we are. Doesn't matter. I mean, I was told once, you know, if the intention is right, 80% of the job is done. So, you know, if the intention is right and you're out there because you truly feel that you can make a difference and you believe in it more than maybe the person or the circumstances around you, you know, stay endurant, believe in it, and it will work out. It will work out with a positive attitude, or with the mindset that Joe also had. Joe was he did not give up, you know, and he was very disappointed he didn't achieve. He truly believed that the whole world should know his method for the world to be a better place. And there would be less fights, there would be less frustration, there would be maybe less anger or less misunderstanding. I don't know how far his thinking process was, but he truly felt it would be the better world.
Yes.
And he to the stories I've heard, he died, you know, very depressed, very sad that he did not achieve that because it was ahead of his time. And I feel like if we can just pursue that at our own level, even just with the studio we have or with the intentions we have where we're at, and we're trying to do it with the conference so that it can get into anybody's household or studio at a bigger scale, then we're kind of continuing on this journey. And anybody can do Pilates. If you teach the body that's in front of you, everybody, it's good for everybody.
Absolutely.
Because it addresses the person and the moment and the circumstances in that very present moment.
So good.
So hopefully, you know, we can continue that journey for Joe all together.
That's so inspiring to say it that way. That is so true. That's good.
I think also, just Martin, before you, one thing in the platform we also give the possibility there is speed networking time, so people can meet each other and learn from each other and discover each other work.
Love that.
And there is also a possibility to people to meet on one-to-one. So if you meet someone if you want to meet someone you don't know till now, but how they present each other or what they do is interesting, you can request them to meet for a one-to-one meeting. And this is actually what we also how we want to serve the industry to help to connect.
Amazing. That's exciting. That was the fastest hour. It's 11:02. That's crazy. So how do we get connected with it? Obviously, the time to register is running short because it starts Friday. Can you just talk about like where we can find this? How do we get connected? How do we sign up?
Gabi?
So you can register on our website, www.pilates-summit.com.
I'm going to put that in the chat.
Yes, please use the code Martin, so you get a 20% discount for the packages. We are starting on Friday. It's 5:30 p.m. CEST, which is probably 11:30 EST. We're starting with a business module, 3 great presenters starting on Friday, and the most incredible, I think, session from the whole is the round table. We did it last year. I cried so much. Chelo can say that I cried. I was so emotional. It was so beautiful to see all the teachers together and sharing their passion and their knowledge in a very, very open and with a lot of gratitude, I think. So it was very, very moving and very emotional, at least for me. And then we follow with two full days of Pilates fun and sharing.
Fantastic.
And then those who want the replay, they can go over it for another 3 months over summer. Because we have 3 stages at the same time. Like in a real conference, you know, you have to choose.
Yes.
In a real conference, it's always frustrating because like, I want to do all of them, but I have to choose. Here, you choose one that you watch, and then you can go and watch the other ones later. You don't miss out on anything if you want the replay. So that's
like
the whole idea,
university
to not miss
course.
out.
Yes.
So that's the idea, yeah. So check out the website. Join us on Facebook as well and on Instagram by just finding us with Pilates Summit. And I mean, there is, you know, we're trying to send out promotional things, gifts and sponsors. We have many partners and sponsors this year who are giving out freebies and discounts. And as I said, the whole idea is to share as much as we can and be together, hopefully, you know, in the best virtual way possible.
What a gift for the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, Martin, for inviting us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you for your work. And thank you for keeping our spirits up.
My pleasure. And thank you to everyone who joined us today as well. Emmett, thank you. Matt Pilates. See, Bonds. There's Joachim. Great teachers and community people here. Awesome. All right. Thank you all so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you on Friday.
Bye. See you on Friday.
Bye. Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Thanks.